Hello anyone who is watching this. I've decided to make this video on the spot, and there's a particular reason I've decided to make it. I've been a long time fan of NECA for a long time now. I like NECA. I think they produce some really solid figures, and they've always been kind of, I feel like everyone's go-to for figures. But I am having a big problem with NECA recently. So, let's just start off the beginning. One of NECA's most iconic and probably by far their most well-known action figure series is their Alien and Predator figures, right? For example, this right here is a 2008 Xenomorph that came in a pack with this here classic Predator, right? These are both very good figures. They're old, but they're good. They look nice. They have good articulation, everything. In my opinion, there's been a serious downfall of quality with NECA's products, at least in the Alien vs. Predator genre. Let me explain why. So to do so, I'm gonna have to show you guys a bunch of things. This Predator will be aside for now. Don't worry, it'll come back later. So, let's start off with this guy. This is going to be sort of a duo review between two figures, but I need to go through some stuff first. So, before we do anything, you see this guy, right? This is the 2008 Xenomorph that came in a double pack with, again, the Predator I just showed. And this is by far my favorite Xenomorph figure that I own. You see, up close, his paint doesn't look, it doesn't look that great, but at the same time, it looks definitely good enough, and I think it gets the job done quite well. The dome is nice. Everything on it is just extremely good looking. As far as articulation is concerned, the elbows bend pretty far, the arms can bend, anything you need for articulation. And most importantly, the joints are nice and tight on this figure, so no matter what pose you put them in, if the pose is possible with the joints, they're tight enough to where they won't just kind of bend around and cause the figure to just topple over, which is going to be a big concern. I'll let you know in a moment. The hands, they're not that articulated, but I mean, hey, they can swivel. You can do anything that you would want to do with the big chap figure, at least from this timeline. And, it's not like this figure is from, it's representing the alien that was kind of around before kind of the more complex alien movements, right? This one's a bit more humanoid. He doesn't need to move in that, in a as much of an animalistic way, at least if you want to go movie accurate. So this is my favorite Xenomorph figure that I own. Really good figure. Looks amazing. Let me put it aside. Next, we have the Alien versus Predator drone Xenomorph right here. Another very good figure, in my opinion. So, this guy is from the original Alien vs. Predator line. I'm not exactly sure what year this guy came out in, but if it's anything that has to do with the movie, if I had to guess, maybe... You know what? I think it actually says the date under the foot. Hold up. No, okay, that's why I couldn't tell, because this one does not have a date under the foot. If I had to guess, though, it'd be maybe 2000, 2005, 2000, 2007, maybe. No later than 2008, that's for sure, which is obviously the year this guy came out. But this is a completely different mold than this. This guy is completely different from that, right? You look at him, and this is by far my second favorite Xenomorph figure that I own. First of all, the head mold is very articulated and nice. It's on a nice ball joint. The jaw looks the best. Look at his teeth. That looks awesome, right? The tongue comes out pretty, well, it's a bit lodged back there now, but you get the point. It looks very nice. Nice and articulated. The elbows this time are double jointed, so they can move even greater. The fingers actually have a joint on them now, so you can bend these back and forth, and they're even kind of sculpted different, so this one can grab onto things better. The feet even have a double joint on them, so if you want to do something like that, you can. For example, on the back foot, the way I have them posed here is like that. Now, I must say right now, everything I say right here regarding this figure, and you know what? Even the big chap behind him is very important, okay? Because the Xenomorph mold is going through a crisis right now. So look at the head here. It's nice and swivelly, good articulation, but it's not too loose, right? Nice and swivelly, good articulation, but it's not too loose. This guy, a bit less articulation. However, the head can still move a great deal, and it's still nice and tight and won't rattle around and shit. And overall, it looks very nice. These are very good figures. Both of them. I love them both. Now, let's bring on another figure. So, this next guy, hold on, let me get the exact date. Aha. This guy is from the, oh my god, you can already see some of the problems regarding this figure popping up. Oh my god, just stand. This guy, I'm going to move these guys out of the way. We've already seen them. Oh my god. This guy right here is from the Aliens Genocide line. There we go. And this was a pretty cool line. It's basically based off a comic where these two queens from the same hive kind of go to war. Red xenomorphs start popping up and combat the kind of original black shade ones. And it's just overall, it's a good comic. I'd recommend it. Read it. But it spawned a figure line, right? Now this xenomorph right here is the newest kind of mold that they've been using for a while now. So let me get the positives out of the way. One, the paint is really good on this, as it is for every NECA figure. I mean, look at this guy. This guy's good. You can't really see him anymore. He's off screen, but it's very good. This guy painted very well, right? Okay, more positives. The arm joints are actually very good. Nice and tight on this one. Double jointed on the elbows. There's a little ball joint on the hands. The hands are sculpted very nicely. Everything about the kind of, well, most of the upper body is very nice. Even the hip is a bit loose, but you know what? It has good amount of articulation. It's again on the ball joint, and it looks nice. Okay, now we're gonna get to some of the more problematic stuff here. Oh my god, you know it's bad when I have to bend the feet a specific way to get it to work. But okay, the legs on this figure, and they use this on every figure, by the way. This is like the new Xenomorph mold. This is on every single Xenomorph. The legs are god awful. Okay. The shins are kind of this rubbery, easily flexible material, and they bend inwards, as you can see here. And the feet kind of just, if you put them flat, as you know they should be, they're just uneven, and they just can't stand for shit, and the knees won't help it because they can't swivel. Unlike this, this figure from 2008, his knees can swivel. Look at this. Swivels nicely, very nicely. And it still looks good, right? This one, knees don't swivel. Even though it has better like knee articulation, like with bending, doesn't mean shit if you can't swivel the knees to stand them up, right? I can barely stand this guy up. It sucks. His tail is fine. It's just kind of the basic Xenomorph tail. The best tail is actually from this guy over here, the Alien vs. Predator one. But overall, the legs are just fucked. But that's not the worst part. Now I'm about to get into the more ranty section. The head mold on this new Xenomorph mold is fucking atrocious. It is the thing that has destroyed like the Xenomorph mold like forever. If they don't get rid of this new head mold, then I'm not buying any more Xenomorph figures. Why is the head mold so bad, you say? Well, it's not actually the mold as much as it is the joint that holds it in. You can't move it that well, and I don't really want to because I'm afraid I'll loosen it, because there's like whatever's connecting it is just this loose, like it just is like this, it just rattles, and it just you know, you could shake it and you could feel the head bobbing, makes a little noise, and it's just god awful. And you can't move it left to right, or else you'll like permanently make the head wobbly. And I'm going to show you a prime example right now. So let me put this guy, let me lean him up against the wall. It's the only damn way I'll be able to stand him up with this god awful foot mold, I swear to God. Stand. There. It's not even standing. He's leaning. I couldn't even get him to stand up on his own. Let me go fetch something real quick. This is really bad. So, right here is a Xenomorph, same exact model, just the paint's different. In fact, this is the Xenomorph that came. These came in a pack of 2. They were like this. They were facing each other like this in the box, you know, like they're fighting, like in the comics, right? Well, you know, broken leg aside, which we'll get to right now, and that's just a thing with all NECA figures now that I'm going to bring up. It's It's god awful. Look at how wobbly the head is. You can turn it left and right, but it doesn't like stay. It just flops back with no effort. It just goes back. You can move it around, but God, at what cost? Look at this. It's god awful. That's stupid. The jaw is also extremely loose, which I know some people are probably going to like. It does lock shut more than the other ones. I'll give it that. The inner jaw comes out about as well as it does for the other ones. You got to really like pull the mouth out to be able to do that. Yeah, you could see the jaw comes out like that. Nothing really complain about there. They don't ever really do the jaw wrong. But overall, just horrible neck connection molds. I literally tried to pry this guy's head off to see like what made it so shitty. But I literally couldn't get this guy's head off. It's on there tight, like, which is unfortunate because it's good that it doesn't break off, but it's bad because now I can't break it off to try to repair it or at least see what's making it so shitty with this new stupid mold. And there's a reason why I actually don't need to break it off, which you'll see in a moment here. So this is the new basic like Xenomorph build for their figures, is this shitty thing. Another problem I have is the joints are so thin. Look at that. You could see like the connection area, and it's not like the ball joint itself like fell out. It literally just snapped. It just completely snapped. There's nothing left in there. It's just an empty socket. Or I guess not even an empty socket, a socket with plastic in there that has snapped off. So this leg, it's not like I can repair this. It's just broken. It's just the leg will not go back on. I could glue it, which is probably what I'm going to do with some of these figures, because I mean, at least might as well have them look nice on the shelf, even if I can't fucking pose them. The hip joint on this one is, it's all right. It's not as good as the other one, but, you know, whatever. As for, like, again, the other joints, they're fine. The legs are shitty, especially the shins. The shins are shitty on all these new alien builds, at least the alien warriors. I don't have, like, the inverted knee alien isolation big chap or anything. I thought it looked nice, but it looked a bit too delicate, which is another problem I have. These figures are getting a lot more delicate now. I mean, I got this guy when I was a kid, and it's from 2008, and I played with this thing for like, it's 2020 now, it's like, what, like 12 years I've been playing with this thing? That's crazy. I've been playing with this thing, and it hasn't broken. Not even these little tubes have broken. These little tubes that just kind of connect, those things haven't broken. Nothing on this thing's broken. And I've had that since I was a little kid. This thing, I got when, 2013, I was probably like, I was actually probably like 13, and, I didn't really play with these guys. I kind of, again, just put them on shelves, and I don't know what happened. If it was in a box or something, it just broke. That shouldn't happen. These other guys have been in boxes. Nothing bad happened to them. Now we're on to the reason and kind of the source of my idea for making this review. So I was on eBay not long ago, maybe like a month or so ago, and I was looking at NECA Xenomorphs, and you know, I was kind of bitter because I really hate these molds. I've been bitter about them, and I'm like, okay, maybe they've improved it, and something caught my eye. The new dog alien from Alien 3 came out fairly recently, and it looked extremely good, like extremely good. I was hesitant due to the mold of the other ones. I was hesitant, but I was like, whatever, it's gonna be cool, it's gonna be fine, I'll buy it. I bought it. It was like $30, and it arrived, right? Here it is. It looks nice, right? Looks pretty nice. I'm going to try my best to stand it up best I can. It's kind of hard because another complaint I have about NECA stuff. This is literally the best I can do right now. So, I got it, right? I look at it in the box. I'm contemplating if I should even take it out of the box, but you know what? If I was going to get a full opinion on if I should even get NECA aliens anymore, I needed to take it out of the box. So I did. And immediately the first thing that struck me is as I was taking out of the box, NECA really locks these things in the box. Like I always feel like scared just taking them out because you have to like tear them out. I'm afraid it'll break a limb. And my fear was completely justified because this head is even worse than the other ones. It moves around, but it is loose as hell. You can't pose it because if you just shake it a bit, look, it can't even stay up. It literally can't even stay up. If you like, it can't stay up. It's so loose. The jaw, you have to kind of crack down. It's kind of a pain in the ass. And then you got to like reach in there and pull it out. I don't even have fingernails. So it's, oh my God, it's hard for me to even get this thing out. But You got to really pry the jaw off. And I do like how far down the jaw goes, though. I think that's kind of cool. Definitely looks nice. Again, there it is. Little tiny mouth, actually. A lot smaller than the other ones. The paint, again, no big deal. In fact, I think this like cranium paint is the best I've ever seen on a Xenomorph. It just looks amazing. It's nice and foggy, everything. Paint looks really good. It looks wet. The tail on this thing is actually quite impressive. It's extremely long, longer than the main torso of the entire thing. And it's very flexible. And the tip here is like a nice kind of like rubbery plastic. I can't see, yeah, so no complaints regarding that stuff. The head, though, as I was pulling it out, the reason why it's so loose, it just came off. I put no effort into that. Wait, let me just... It just came right off. And now I got to see what I assume is the shitty head mold they've started using. So, on the tip here, you can see a ball joint in there where this peg moves around, right? Nothing too bad. It's a bit of a small peg. I'd wish it'd be bigger and more durable, but I mean, whatever. They got to keep the neck small enough to allow articulation, right? Here's the head. Underneath the head is this slit that is much bigger than needed to. It's like a long slit. I think it's so you could like slide its head back and forth to make it look up or down. But if they wanted to do that, they should have just done this Xenomorph's mold and just have it be on a ball joint. This one has the most articulation of all, and it doesn't fall off, and it's not loose. It's a good mold. This one is shit. It is a shitty mold, and it doesn't stay on well at all, and it sucks. It is a horrible mold, and I don't know if it's the exact same as what's used on those guys, but I wouldn't be surprised. This one just got banged up as it was being shipped or something, because even before I took it out and the head broke, the head was already pretty loose, and I remember I was trying to like pose it a specific way, and then it just popped off. I didn't even really feel it pop off. I just was moving it, and then it just was like, oh, it's off. Okay. And I swear to God, I'm not rough with these things. I'm quite protective of them. You can pop it on just about as easily as you can throw it back off. Not that it helps. Look how loose this stupid thing is. At first, I might have thought that, you know, maybe the people who were shipping it to me, because I didn't buy it off like NECA.com or anything. I bought it off eBay. I was thinking maybe the people who shipped it messed around with it or something. But no, I got it brand new. It was still sealed inside the box and everything. Okay, articulation. This thing has, when it comes to the amount of articulation, very good amount of articulation. But that's not my problem. There comes a point, in my opinion, where there is too much articulation. And the thing is, with this guy, is his... Oh my God, see, look at that. That's bullshit. His arms are so skinny, and the joints are so loose that if you like set him down, he just goes down. You cannot... He just falls. And all his joints are just very loose and flexible, and sure, you could pose them easier. Look, you can like crumple this guy up into a ball, and it's not hard, which, I mean, I'm sure some people are like, yeah, that's cool, but no, it's not cool. And also, for some reason, this back, like this joint right here on this leg comes off like a lot, and I have to literally like push it back in, and it's like in again, but then just as easily it can just come undone. And it's not the same with this one. You can see I'm spreading this one out, and this one's definitely more out than the other one. I don't know if that's just a factory thing or what, but this shit is just inexcusable. NECA, if you're watching, which I highly doubt you're not, but if you are, stop using this shitty head mold. It's horrible. I hate it. Stop using it. Okay, so that's my rant on the NECA Xenomorphs, right? Let's look at some positive NECA stuff, right? Okay, so I ranted on a lot of NECA's new stuff, so let's look at something that NECA made recently that isn't dog shit. This is their Jason Voorhees. This came out in, I think, 2019. And I think it's the one from the third movie. Doesn't really matter, because it's fucking Jason, right? Everyone recognizes him. He's got his hockey mask. That's all that matters. This guy is a great figure. 2019, that's like later than these guys came out. This guy came out, I think 2019 also. Maybe even 2020. I'm not entirely sure. But this is a great figure. Perfectly painted, well detailed. His face looks amazing. His mask is nice. It slips on and it stays on. His head can even come off. One thing NECA does do good, though, these days is they provide a bunch of little, like, props to go with the figures, and NECA never fails in that regard, because even this thing came with, like, a face hugger or something. I don't know. These things, nothing. The older figures usually don't come with that, but the newer ones do, which is quite nice. This guy came with a lot. He came with, like, his mother's gravestone. He came with a bunch of shit, a bunch of weapons to use that are, like, from the movie. Very good. So, what makes this figure so good while the other figures are not? First of all, the joints are actually, like, kind of beefier, and he can bend his arm, and the arm joint is tight enough to not fall down. The shoulder's good. It can bend inwards and outwards. It's quite nice. His shirt's a nice rubber. He's got a bit of a hip joint. His head is on a very nice joint. His hands, each one is on a little ball joint, which can swivel and kind of bend a bit. He comes with multiple hands that you can kind of take off and reattach, but I don't usually like doing that because I just have a fear of, messing something up. I never like to mess with my figures in that regard. The knees are actually quite good in this figure. I really like the knees. They're satisfying. They swivel. Allows for good standing. I mean, can't imagine Jason doing like yoga, so I mean, it's not like you're gonna need to pose in that weirdly. His feet, they're not that articulated because his pants drape down so low, but again, whatever. You're not gonna have Jason be doing yoga. The only complaint I have is this leg is just a bit loose. You can push it up and it'll stay up if you push it up far enough. So, but like when you do this, it just kind of goes like that. The other leg doesn't do that. It's only this leg. So that's kind of, I don't like that at all. But besides that, this is a great figure. Another great figure, and this, I'm about to show you NECA at its best. This is NECA at its best. This is the Big Daddy Bouncer from NECA's Bioshock line, which was started in 2010 with the release of Bioshock 2. This is one of, if not the best figure NECA has ever made, in my opinion. Perfectly painted, articulation is perfect, joints are nice and tight, they bend decently enough for what you'd expect from this hulking monster. Everything bends perfectly. It is just a great figure. It looks nice. He can stand up in most positions you put him in. Everything about him's great. Comes with these tanks you put on the back. You can glue them if you're afraid of them coming out, but trust me, they won't. Everything about this figure is just amazing. The entire Bioshock line for NECA is just great, and I'd recommend it. The only problem is it might drive you a bit steep. For example, this figure goes on average for like $250 to $300 now, I believe. I'd recommend an auction perhaps, but I mean, good luck outbidding your opponents. But this is NECA at its best. So NECA did a really good job with this stuff. So again, these two figures prove NECA can make really good stuff. One of them was older, the other one was younger. So, as I mentioned, we were going to talk about Predators. Well, along with that original Xenomorph drone came this Predator. It's just kind of the classic jungle hunter. He didn't come with a mask or anything, but, whatever. He comes with his plasma caster, which is on a little ball joint. His arms they can bend, they can swivel, they're nice and durable. His hands are on ball joints, which again are nice and tight. They're not gonna like pop off or anything. This arm is nice. They're all very durable. This arm is in a fist. His blades shoot out and come back out like as they should in the movie. The paint. My only complaint is the paint. It gets a bit wonky in some places. The chest, for example, you could see it kind of starts blending in a bit in some places. Also, there's like this random orange splotch that has been on the foot since I got it out of the packaging, and I know that for a fact this is there when I first got it, and that kind of is weird, but again, besides that, he looks nice, good articulation, everything. Take note of his waist articulation, by the way. He can turn around left and right, Predator stuff. It looks good, right? Overall, this is a very simple but good figure, and I'm glad I have it. Now, let's have a look at the updated version. So, this may come across as weird, but I was in the store again, and I was like, okay, maybe Aliens are destroyed as a figure franchise for NECA, but at least Predator should be doing fine. I haven't bought a Predator since this guy, so I don't have many Predators. I had another one. It was a really good one. Dog chewed it up after it fell off a shelf. Rip. He was a good figure. Wrist blades were chewed off. One of his hands chewed off, so he didn't look so good no more. But recently, it was my birthday, and my girlfriend, knowing I like NECA, bought me a NECA Predator from the original Predator. Here's the box. Jungle Hunter. Classic. This is the Jungle Hunter. This is basically what I'm about to show you is a reimagining of this figure. Here he is. I'm about to show you. Now, right off the bat, does anything seem off about this figure? I mean, don't get me wrong, the paint is beautiful. In fact, it's upgraded from this guy in every way possible. Let's look at, again, the positives. So first of all, and trust me, there's only one negative to this figure. But I don't know if this is just NECA's shitty quality control or what, but I was very disappointed. The head. The head is actually not as articulated as this Predator, weirdly. But, it has a good range of motion. The mask looks very nice, everything. You got this, wire thingy, which is, less of a plastic and actually more of a string material now. His joints are actually very nice. This guy did come with a large amount of like accessories, like skulls and mask with or a face without the mask, etc. The feet don't have a random splotch of paint on them, so that's good. Even though I think the feet are probably the weakest of the paint, but once again, the knees are really nice. Everything about this figure, well, at least I thought, was very nice. The wrist blades especially look quite good. This hand, I think, does look a little wonky, but again, nothing I don't mind that much. So, right away, though, there's a little complaint. The arm is just loose there on this joint. That's another problem with double jointed things. You can fix it just by kind of pushing it up more, but you can't like just have it be like that, or else it'll fall down. Obviously, you could just go like this, but just a little complaint of mine. Nothing too groundbreaking if you're just going to display it, I imagine. The waist. What the fuck is with the waist, NECA? First of all, it's really floppy, right? Like this guy, you just dangle him back and forth, he just goes. He came out of the package like this. As I was getting him out of the package, he was already loose like this. So I decided I was going to try to maybe press it in. I thought maybe it's not pressed in all the way. You can literally, when you bend his torso back a bit, you can see the joint that keeps it in. And so I'm messing with it. And lo and behold, with little to no effort, this comes off. You can see the joint in there. It's a ball joint. Not that it matters. You can move this thing around like that. It's too tight to do anything, though. Like, this is an example for just a joint too tight. In there, you can see a flashy hole full of just excess plastic and flashing and shit, and it's just, why? NECA, why? This is bullshit. And then you stick it in, no matter how far you push down, the waist doesn't fit in with, like, the belt area perfectly. Like, it should be down lower, but it's not. It's, like, up high. And he looks, it probably doesn't look as bad on camera, but in person, he just looks, like, weirdly lanky, and it just doesn't make sense. He shouldn't be this lanky. What was so wrong with that original joint? I don't get it. They tried to also add an extra, like, chest joint in here, but it's, like, so, like, doesn't do much, so I honestly don't know why they added it in the first place. But NECA, again, bullshit. What are you doing? This is stupid. This is bullshit. Stop with this bullshit joints. Go back to the original joints. I don't want any of these stupid thin joints anymore. It's just all bullshit, okay? I don't know if this is, I don't know. If anyone else has this figure, this exact one, let me know if you have had some bad experiences, but again, it's just bullshit. I'm sick of NECA's bullshit, okay? Again, I'm so thankful that I got this figure, and I was so excited, and it is not anyone's fault except NECA's, okay? If it was, the waist was on there and it didn't fall off in like 3 seconds, I'd be fine with this figure. It's definitely better than the Xenomorph figures. I mean, this could just be like NECA's shit quality control there, but I don't know. I highly doubt all of them are like this. It's not as bad as the Xenomorphs where they've just incorporated a shitty joint into the entire line of like their newest generation of figures. But yeah, long story short, that's bad. That is really bad. And I'm sick of NECA's like dumb shit, right? So let's move all these bad guys to the back and bring up the two good OGs. Classic Xenomorph. Classic Jungle Hunter. Two amazing figures. I don't know how much they're going for online now, but I'd recommend it if you can find it. Both really good figures, both solid. They both look nice. Perfect articulation. They're not too tight. They're not too loose. They're just perfect, okay? Get these figures. They're amazing. Anyways, that was my video. Sorry if that was very ranty. Again, I just made this video. No script, nothing. I just got pissed off, decided to make this video of NECA. So, let's hope they improve upon the joints heads in the future, and if anyone can locate me any new Xenomorphs that don't have shit neck joints, let me know in the comments. I don't know how many views this video is going to get. Probably jack shit. Probably like 3 views if I had to guess, but I don't know. Just thank you for watching. Goodbye.